We are who we are. And if we can get a job that allows us to be that, that's the perfect fit that I want to help you find. But it starts with self awareness. And that's what I do when I give my clients a disc. It's the most powerful tool that I have found that can really get to the bottom of so many different things and really help you with your self awareness. Because again, we don't know what we don't know. And when we start taking these assessments, it only takes like 15, 20 minutes to take this disc assessment that I give. But the amount of stuff that it can tell you about yourself is amazing. And I have one page specifically that I use just to uncover your blind spots. And it's amazing how well it works. There's another one that focuses on your strengths in leadership. There's another one or several pages that just focus on your behavioral style, whether it's at work, whether it's, how you see yourself, how other people see you. It talks about the mask that you put on in public. And if we're putting on a mask when we're going out in public or when we're going to work, man, we're not being true to ourselves. We want to get a job where we're ourselves, whether we're working, whether we're with our family, whether we're on vacation, we are who we are. And this is especially true when we're transitioning out of the military and into the civilian world, because I am a firm believer of strengths-based leadership and really focusing on our strengths in our jobs and in our careers and in our callings. Because if we're not focusing on our strengths, some of the things that we may be focusing on are our weaknesses. And if we're spending time trying to make a weakness strong, man, we're killing ourselves, because every minute that we're spending on a weakness, we're not spending on our strengths. And our strengths is what we were made to do. Now, in the military, we had to do the job one way or another. If we were put in a job and we had responsibilities, we had to learn how to do that. Plain and simple. In the civilian world, you have the choice to really focus on your strengths. And this is especially true when you're searching for that job. Because if you just go out and search for a job, you're going to get a job that's may have some responsibilities that are focused around your weaker areas. And that's going to make you look bad. And you're not going to be able to give or reach your full potential because you're focusing on those weaker areas. However, if you discover all of your strengths and what really makes you tick and what really makes you reach your full potential or sets you up to reach your full potential, that's when you can really start making a difference in the world and in the people around you. That's when you'll start living that fulfilled life, because you are really jamming on your strengths. Don't waste your time on your weaknesses. Those weaknesses that you have, I'll guarantee there's other people out there that can do them better and more sufficient than you can. And in the civilian world, time is money. So there's a bunch of different assessments out there that I would recommend that you dive into. And I work with the DISC. I'm a certified DISC consultant and trainer, and man, I love the DISC. Every client that I work with, the first thing they start off with is I give them a DISC. And our first session is really breaking down that DISC, because I can look at their DISC and I can automatically start seeing all these trends and these patterns and these things that are going on in their life. And when I start telling them what it tells me, they're just floored. They're like, how do you know this? And I'm like, hey, the results don't lie. The results are telling the truth. Something's going on here that you're not comfortable with. And they're like, yes, there is. And I said, my guess is you're spending too much time doing this and maybe not enough time doing this. And they're like, yes, that's it. How do you know that? And it's really funny, because the DISC that I use is the Maxwell method of DISC, and it's created by a company called People Keys, but it's the best DISC assessment out there as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of different assessments, but I love that one. Now, there's also the Enneagram. That's really, really a strong assessment. I'm not an expert on the Enneagram. I've taken it. I got a book right here on it, The Road to You. All right. I have several books on DISC. I mean, everywhere I look around here are books on DISC, but I'm always studying that and always learning stuff. There's also the Strength Finder. All right. I have the Strength Finder's book, and I've taken the Strength Finder. That's really good at identifying your strengths. So if you're getting ready to transition, I always say start really preparing for your transition about 2 years prior, because that really allows you to start putting a plan together, start getting a strategy together, and start taking these assessments. And these assessments, get with a coach or get with somebody who really knows these assessments to explain them to you. Because the DISC assessment that I give gives you an instant 30-page report, and it is great. But this 30-page report, if you don't know a lot about it, it doesn't do you any good. When I was in the military, for example, I took the DISC every 2 to 3 years, it seems. And they would bring somebody in, and we'd have like a 2-3 hour session on trying to figure this out and figuring out what we are. And we'd be labeled, hey, I'm a DI, or I'm a DC, or I'm a SC. We'd be labeled all these, but we had no idea after that briefing how to use this to our advantage. And that's what I do when I give my clients a DISC. It's the most powerful tool that I have found that can really get to the bottom of so many different things and really help you with your self-awareness. Because again, we don't know what we don't know.